MacBook Pro microphone. Can you hear me now? Now can you hear me? The audio is probably absolutely horrendous quality if you can hear me, but having issues with this microphone and I'm not sure why. So I don't know why my stream doesn't have audio. Yeah, I know you can hear me now, but the audio quality is probably absolute garbage because it's coming through my MacBook speakers. That's embarrassing. No one's going to want to listen to this. So apologies for the issues with the stream. That's really annoying and really embarrassing, and I'm really pissed off about it. But is what it is. Welcome to hanging out, editing things and whatnot. I'm going to try and see if I can get this microphone fixed. I'm not sure what the problem is. I did a call earlier today, and someone said that it was cutting in and out and they couldn't really hear it. So I'll have to look into what's going on, do some tests with it. I was doing like voiceover with it the other day, and it was totally fine. Didn't have any issues with it. So I'll have to maybe just do some troubleshooting and figure out what the problem is, or maybe it's time for a new microphone. That one is really old, so might be time to replace it. But yeah, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, I agree, Greg. It's not horrible, but like still, it's not that great. I strive on perfection, and this sucks, but is what it is. So, um, yeah, hopefully everybody's doing all right. I'm going to hop into. Look, I have the second screen. Look at this. We've got. Just need to. Switch over my camera here. There we are. Perfect. All right, so we've got the Premiere Pro window right here, so you guys can take a look at my Premiere Pro. Make that a little bit bigger. I'm in the bottom right because the bottom right of my Premiere doesn't really have anything in it. I can actually make me even smaller. There we go. So I take up even less space because there we go. Perfect. All right, so I got a few things on the agenda for today, but I really just wanted to just chat with everyone, see what everybody's up to, do a little Q&A, and you know, do a little bit of editing. We've already got questions. I have a question. Are you working for Ford for the Nürburgring 24? Yes, I am working with Ford for the Nürburgring 24. Really looking forward to it. They have an amazing livery. They've got this like camouflage car that looks really cool, so I'm really looking forward to that. And they're just a good bunch of guys. I really like working with HRT. We got to work with them at Bathurst again, and that was a lot of fun. So fortunately, obviously the car went out really early on, but still a great bunch of people to work with. Are crop sensor cameras bad for videography? I would say no. I mean, like, the only issue you're going to have with a crop sensor camera is getting enough light into the sensor at night. That's really going to be your main limit. So I used to use like GH5, Panasonic GH5, which is a micro four thirds sensor. And the thing with a micro four thirds sensor is that it's so tiny. Like the sensor is like this big, like it's tiny, and then it just doesn't let a lot of light in, right? So you're really struggling at night. So that's really the only limitation you're gonna have with crop sensor. One good thing about crop sensor is that your distance is doubled on your lenses. So when you have a shorter lens, like a 50, it's actually 100, right? Like everything's gonna be doubled or you know, at least increased. So if you're shooting from far away, it actually really helps. So it's actually good for like younger people getting started and people just getting into the game that don't have a lot of money to buy stuff. And it really helps with, you know, pushing things a little bit farther so you can shoot a little bit farther. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. Yes, leave likes. Likes are really important. I know people hate when we're like the video, make sure you like the video. But it's like, really, please like the video, because honestly, like, that's what makes YouTube push our videos. And like my views have been like not great right now, if I'm being honest. But hey, we're just one video away from blowing up. I did have a short blow up the other day, which is really cool. So you really got, I'm really learning that people want to learn stuff and you need to like do some tutorial based things. But first thing we're going to do today in Premiere is we're going to work on an actual project. We have to pull all of the best stuff from Bathurst for Ford Racing to have and for Ford Racing HRT to have. So when I work for Ford, it's usually through agencies, and this agency gets a copy of all of the footage, the best footage to use in future projects for social media. So I pull them like 10 minutes of footage from every race and I put it in here. I drop it into a sequence and then send it to them. So that's basically what we're going to be doing today, is just pulling all the best footage. So we're going to look through basically all my stuff from Bathurst. I'll go over kind of how I, this is the project file I would have used at Bathurst. I'll go through how I label my clips, how I go through everything, and then I'll also show you how I do integrations with Frame.io, which is a really cool service for client feedback. So you should also, if I'm just going to double check OBS, you should be able to, if I play something in here, you should be able to hear it. So let me go ahead and I'll just play a bit of a project and you guys let me know if you can hear the audio. You should be able to hear that. It's coming up in OBS, but so was my other mic. So you never know, but let me know if you can hear that. And we will proceed with viewing everything. I guess sound is not super important right now because we are just pulling like the best footage. We're not really too concerned about audio for this, but we'll start with kind of how I label things. So basically I'll just full screen my project bin here. So just like this, so we can see the project bin in full screen. Basically what I'll do is I'll put labels and everything. So you see, if you look on the left side here, you'll see like if we open this, everything here is kind of labeled. We've got red labels, we've got orange labels, we've got blue labels, violet labels. So basically what I do is I go through all of the clips when I get back because I'm shooting, Jared's shooting, and Brent's shooting. And then what I'll do is I will watch each individual clip or at least scrub it. So I'll kind of open it exactly like this. So if I open up my FP1 folder here, Friday FP1, double click this, I'll open it up like so, have this sort of view of everything. And then what I do is I just go through and scrub the clips like so. So I just run my cursor over them and I can get an idea of what they are. And I'll start labeling them by car number. So for example, this was a McLaren and I was labeling McLaren stuff yellow because I'd already used Mango for something else. I should have done Mango because Mango looks like the McLaren, but I labeled them yellow. And then I actually set up hotkeys for labeling because I set all the numbers on my keyboard from 1 to 7 represented different colors. So 1 was a trackside shot, and I could just hit 1, like so, bang, bang, all good. Like, and you'd have that labeled off, and I could do 2 for driver, 3 for pit stop, and I would just do it that way really, really quickly. And then what I can do in my bin here is I can make a new smart bin. So I can go create search bin. And I can search by metadata, so I can search by label, and then I can just grab like everything that's labeled green, and it will give me every single file in here that is labeled green. And then I can double click that, and I just have all the green stuff, which was garage. So pretty fantastic. It's revolutionized my workflow, these smart bins. It's just super great for grabbing stuff. Yeah, all of this footage is from the Bathurst 12-hour. Somebody also asked, going to any of the NLS rounds. I am not going to any other NLS rounds, just Nürburgring 24, and then I will be going to Spa 24 as well, if you're asking about Spa. So let me see this green stuff here. So I think what we're going to start with is trackside footage. So I'm going to open up the tan folder, which had all of the trackside stuff. And we'll just go through this and we'll just start scrubbing out the best stuff. Sorry, that's it's going to be a little bit annoying with the scrubbing. I might actually just mute my audio just so you guys don't have to listen to me scrubbing through clips. I'm just going to mute that just so you don't have to hear it. Of course, I can hear it. But Let's see what we have here. I'm just gonna lower my volume actually. So we got a nice shot here coming down the S's. One thing about this clip though is that you can see there's a lot of Toyota branding. Now that's something that's really difficult to avoid when we're in the field, is like avoiding all of this competing sponsor branding, but it's just not, unfortunately, it's just not really something that we can, you know, we can control. There's going to be competing sponsor branding, but I'm not going to include this shot because they probably won't use it. Do you always keep the audio on while scrubbing? I actually don't. Like, I'll usually listen to music while I scrub clips. You know, honestly, like I'm usually just listening to music and kind of hanging out. Let me just check my my stream settings. Someone said they're apparently capped at 480p. I don't have the stream capped at 480p, so I don't know why it would be capped at 480p for you. So let me just double check my output. The bitrate is high. It should be fine. You should be receiving it in fairly high quality, but if it's low quality, my apologies. Double check YouTube here. But yeah, that's basically how I do it. Basically just scrub through the clips, look through what there is. But I'm not going to send these ones because there is some pretty distinct Toyota branding, although this shot here is pretty good. We have a little bit of Toyota, but you can get around that, and you can still use some of this as a great clip that Jared shot. Nice 100 frames per second slow-mo. Definitely drop that in. And then to drop it in, I just have a hotkey set to my comma key, and then it just drops it directly into the timeline like that. So I don't have to, like, you can drag it down like so, but I just, yeah, comma. Still some learning pains, some growing pains with the stream and learning how these things work. So my apologies on the stream quality. It shouldn't be capped at 480. I don't know why. Probably something I did, if I'm being honest with you. I tested this morning. I was getting 1080, so I'm not sure what the deal is, but it is what it is. So my apologies if nobody wants to watch a 480p stream. It's just not, I know that's not great, but it is what it is. Alrighty, so jumping back in. Sorry, I'm trying to read everybody's questions as well. I'm very new to streaming. I do get distracted by the questions. I'll drop this clip in as well. We have a nice slow-mo there. Just put the cursor at the end. So a lot of what I do in Premiere and everything is really like, it's all hotkey based, because they just save you so much time. So I'm setting an in and an out point by pressing the O and the I key, right? Because that just really helps me just speed up how everything goes. Because like I don't want to be just, you know, having to click and drag or right click and select. You just want to be able to quickly drop things onto the timeline. Looking at getting a hybrid camera, should I aim for one with 4K 60p? So personally, I'm not a huge fan of 60p. I don't think 60p looks that great. I don't like 60 frames per second slow-mo, and then I really don't like when it's played in regular speed, because when you're playing a high frame rate in regular speed and your shutter's at like 125 to match the 60 frames per second, the double shutter frame rate rule, you just end up like with this brutal like just jitter every time you move the camera a little bit. It's like the jitter is so visible. I know you use Premiere, but you say I should switch from Adobe to it. Premiere is an Adobe program, so unless you mean like Resolve or something else, no one should switch to any specific program. I think you use what works for you. They're all linear editing softwares, whether you're using Premiere or you're using, Resolve or you're using Final Cut Pro. They're all linear editing softwares, so they all kind of do the same thing, right? Resolve is definitely the best for color grading. I think Premiere is the best when it comes to actually doing your edit. I like Resolve a lot for color, but I hate it for editing. I just don't think it's very intuitive at all. Yeah, my apologies if you're looking at a 480p stream right now and it just looks like shit. I hate that. But that's just, you know, I'm still learning these live streams. The next one will be better, I promise. Oh, that's a nice clip. I like these really sort of fast clips like this, like where it's just really quick and it goes, like, and we're on to the next thing, because you just get like a nice bit of action, and you can, in an edit, you can quickly then go to the next clip, right? And I think these days where we're doing edits with a lot of cuts that are really fast motion, it's just nice to have those like really quick clips that, you know, are eye-catching and attention-grabbing and keep people's attention. I hate that we're having to do edits just solely to keep people's attention, but it's the way that it is. I mean, even if you're looking at, sorry, a question about camera can shoot in log 4K 24p. Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. And then also, like, if you can do, you know, slow frame rate like 120 in 1080, you're probably fine. You're still fine for social media to deliver people edits in 1080p. You have to think like every single vertical edit that we give, like if we deliver like a piece of vertical video, this is 1080. It's 1920 by 1080. It's not 4K. It's scaled down to 1080, right? So like you can see, like this was the original clip, and when we size it, it's half the size, right? That's what we're going down to. Have you ever been asked by clients to paint out non-client badges or advertising? I absolutely have been asked to do that. I've been asked to re-edit videos, to remove footage from certain like sponsors, or like even at Bathurst, we were asked before one video, like, hey, can you remove this clip that shows Toyota? And I was like, hey man, like we really can't. We just had a discussion about it. I was like, I would love to do that, but 2/3 of the track is branded in non-Ford stuff. There was a Volkswagen turn, a BMW turn, and a Ford turn. So it's like and Toyota turn. I was like, so if we're not allowed to shoot any of those, like we can't shoot anywhere on track. So we kind of have it limited to like, if it's on track, it's fine. But if it's, you know, somewhere else, like if it's, you're not going to put the driver in front of a Chevrolet background for an interview, right? That would be not good. So we're not going to be doing that. There we go. The Mustang coming around the corner. I love this shot as well, through the fence. I think I'm going to send them 2 different melts. I call it a melt or a string out when you just lay footage out. The reason that we're doing it this way and not just giving them all the raw footage is because when we give raw footage, the files first off are massive, and second, then they have to go through absolutely everything, right? This way they just have the best stuff and easily can start editing. All right. I mainly do photography, but would you like to catch a video, specifically audio at C rating? What would you make a good microphone? Something like an R50. Can you explain hot shoes? What to look for in a mic? So in the description of all my YouTube videos, I have a list of all the gear that I use. They are Amazon like genius links, but I don't make any money, and I'd rather you not buy from Amazon. I'd rather you go to a proper store. But the Rode Video Micro, if you're just starting out, is an incredible microphone. Like I have mine in my bag over there. It's a tiny little microphone that runs off your camera battery. You just plug it in with a like a 3.5 mil jack or a 1/8, and it runs great. It's way better than your internal mic and will give you just fine audio. You do have to go into your camera and adjust the audio setting to adjust like the levels, but honestly, for $50, you cannot beat it. And it just has a regular like hot shoe. It just goes on. It just goes right in your usual like hot shoe mount. So it's pretty awesome. Hey Mark, let me see a question. You ever considered selling packs with raw S-Log footage from different events? So the problem with selling footage is that I can't for most events because it's all licensed. I'm not allowed to sell the footage. Technically, there's like a lot of events where I'm technically not even supposed to use it like on my YouTube channel, but I still do, and no one's said anything yet. But I can't sell footage from IMSA. I can't sell footage from NASCAR or IndyCar. I can't sell footage from the Nürburgring. because there's all these licensing deals that we sign, because technically by rule those events own the footage, you're just allowed to film it. So it's interesting. But I could sell footage from like SRO America, like GT World Challenge, because they don't have any sort of licensing fee. I know Greg does that, but I only shoot like one of those a year, so it wouldn't really be worth it. If you're cropping vertical from horizontal, it's better to have 4K. Not really. So let's look at 4K cropped to horizontal. I can give you an example. Okay, so this is a clip shot in 4K, right? And let's size this to normal. So this is at 100%. I'm going to scale this down now to 1080. Literally, it's 88.9% is what you can scale it down to. So it's really not much different. The 4K doesn't give you much more height in any way, because it's pretty much, it's 1920. The height is 1920 versus what you're going to get out of your 4K, which is 2160. Obviously, it helps you, like, you can crop this way, right? But really, in terms of height and fitting more in the frame, it doesn't really help you. So the badge real things get expensive. What are the best video spots at Spa that general access can get to? Spa is a great circuit for general admission shooting, because pretty much anyone, like, there's so many good spots you can shoot from at Spa. Like, obviously the grandstand above Eau Rouge, like, I've shot lots of stuff from that grandstand. You've also got around track, they even have photo windows cut out, like, for the fans. So the run into the final chicane is really good. You can shoot from there. There's spots at Double Gauche you can shoot that are fantastic. I have a lot of vlogs from Spa, and you can see, like, in those vlogs, basically, like, some great spots to shoot. So I would just peruse the channel. Some more great stuff that Brent did from Top of Rock Skyline. Love it. We'll include that. All this is shot in S-Log 3 as well. Brent and I even synced our cameras with exactly the same settings for video and whatnot. So we would be in the same... We'd just have everything coming out of the camera would be the same, just for ease of color grading. There we go. That's a good one as well. We'll shop that. One thing you'll notice as well with the FX6 is that it brings in 7 channels of audio. It can support 7 channels of audio. And as you can see, 6 of them are completely empty. So we could just delete those. We don't need those. It is kind of annoying when you're editing to have all those channels of audio, but for larger productions and stuff that you can use the FX6 for, of course, like, you need those extra channels of audio. It's because you can basically use the camera for live broadcast as well. If you go to, okay, so someone asked, if you don't have media credential, can you still shoot the race as a fan and use the footage? Absolutely. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It would be very hard for an event organizer to police that, right? To stop people from posting stuff. I know that F1 has done like DMCA takedowns and stuff on social of people posting from races, but I mean, who's going to stop you? The joke in a lot of the Australian series, like supercars, where usually you're not allowed to shoot trackside, is that you might as well just go to the race as a fan, because then you'd actually be allowed to shoot, right? So, 21 viewers, that's amazing. Honestly thought that, like, we'd have maybe 5 or 6 people watching. I do Instagram live sometimes, and, like, you never get anyone. All right, they are going to get a lot of footage here. So we're finally on my stuff. This is probably one of the best shots I got at Bathurst. This is where the cars were coming. This is from FP1. You're getting a lot of compression through the tire, and you get that nice smoking of the wheel. It's beautiful. So we'll definitely give them that. I think all 3 drivers and the team all posted that clip because they love it. So it's pretty awesome. Send this one as well. That's a nice clip. God, all my clips are just so nice. Crazy. It's almost like I'm really good. There we go. Shooting at Rock Skyline rocks. Such good stuff. I'm not going to send this Toyota one with the Toyota branding, because they definitely won't use it. One thing I will say that I noticed at Bathurst, though, so at a lot of the series in Australia, like it's supercars and stuff, you're not allowed to film trackside. So a lot of the shooters just didn't really know the etiquette of shooting trackside because they do it so rarely. Like I talked to a guy that said of the 30 events he does a year, he's only allowed to shoot trackside at like 5 of them. And there just wasn't a lot of etiquette when it came to like not standing in each other's way and things like that. So it was a little bit frustrating, but I more used it as an opportunity just to educate people because, you know, they're not used to it. And I think if you just approach that scenario like being rude, being like, hey, you're in my way, get out of my way, like that's just no way to talk to people, and it's no way to like start a relationship with someone. So definitely better to like just say, hey, you know, we need to maybe think about other people being around you and not being in the way. It's a nice shot as well. He's going through some dust that one of the Mercedes cars kicked up. Let's see what else we have here. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I think this is a really quick pass. Love that. Do one more of those. I don't want to give them too many of the same type of shot either. Just because, you know, they're going to have way too much to look through then. How do you keep track of your car when it's coming up? Do you have a stream? You just kind of wait and remember the order. That's exactly it. You kind of are like, okay, they were behind the Ferrari last lap, so I know that when the Ferrari's coming, that's when, you know, my car is going to be. And then sometimes they box and then it changes that. But that's kind of how I do it. The Nürburgring actually has an app that you can use that shows you the locations of the cars on track, which is pretty awesome. But not everywhere has that. So can you talk about the double frame rate rule? Didn't quite catch that. Okay, so the double frame rate rule is essentially that you want to be shooting at your shutter speed at whatever double your frame rate is, right? So if you're shooting 24 frames a second, you want to have your camera at 1/24 let me start that over. If you're shooting at 24 frames on the shutter, you want to have your camera at 1/48 or as close to 1/48 as you can. Not every camera will do 1/48, so you do 1/50. The camera filming me right now is at 24 frames per second, 1/50, right? So it's going to give me realistic motion blur. When I move my hand, you're going to get realistic blur. If you crank your shutter speed up, like a lot of younger people do when they first get started, they crank their shutter speed a lot because it makes the image darker. If they don't have an ND filter, they'll just crank the shutter. But what happens with that is it makes your video lose all of the realistic looking motion, and everything is super sharp, right? It looks like like what your phone looks like, or like almost like you're watching a video game, right? So it almost feels like you're literally watching a video game, which a lot of people, younger people now, are used to watching growing up, so they think it looks really good. But you don't, I hate when you have that super sharp look. And then also if your shutter's too low, you'll get extra blur. You'll get like these trails when I move my hand, right? So it's, you want to try and keep it as close to double your frame rate as you can. Cameras like the FX6 shoot with a shutter angle because it's a cinema camera, and you just leave it at 180 all the time. So for example, on the A7S III, which is filming me now, you would do like for 120 frames per second, you would do 250 on the shutter. For 100 frames a second, you would do 200. For 24, you would do 50. For 25, you'd do 50. For 60, you would do 125. As close as you can get to double it to keep it realistic looking. Slightly delved into it in the Bathurst vlog, but what are the conversations you had in delivering content for the Ford team? So that video is still not out yet. They were sent it a little while ago. It's still going through approval. Basically, the conversation was like, how do you want to handle this, right? Do we want to talk about it? And I'm fortunate with the folks there that are like, yeah, let's tell the story of what happened. Let's say that we hit a kangaroo. Let's, you know, that's what happened. Let's not glaze over it. I've worked for other manufacturers in the past. I've worked for Lamborghini, and Lamborghini is like, if we're not on the podium, we're not going to post anything. So that's, you know, not not as interesting, but you know, it is what it is. They don't want to post if they're not on the podium. So, you know, that's their prerogative. So, is that a rule for all video or just motorsport video? That is a rule for basically all video. That's just the basic rule of video in general, rather than like you have to do that for just for motorsport. Like that's like pretty much everything. You're gonna want to run at that sort of 180-degree rule. So I'm pretty happy with all of this trackside stuff here. I think we'll have that as sort of one melt, and then we'll start on the next one, which will be more like driver and pit stop stuff. So I think I had drivers labeled as a violet, so we can pull that up, and we'll just pull a few shots of each driver. Probably do with helmets. They'll probably prefer to have helmets. So here's a nice shot of Chris Mees before he was covered in kangaroo guts. And before you ask, yes, we have photos. Yes, we have video. No, we can never show them to you. Sorry. Great shots of Chris Mees here. Love that. Got the gimbal out for these ones. So this is the A7S3 on a gimbal. Very smooth. Love it. Sometimes I like a gimbal. To everybody just joining, good to have you here. I just want to apologize for the quality of the stream. It's 480. There must be something in the settings clicked improperly. So next week's stream will definitely not be 480. It will definitely be better. The other thing I want to ask you guys, you can leave a comment, let me know, is if I do a stream of me building the Rexy Lego set, okay? Like if I set up a camera and I do a stream of me building the Rexy Lego set, would you watch that? Because I'm considering doing it. I'm considering doing a live stream that's just me and maybe my wife building the Rexy Lego set. That's all we're going to do, and to answer questions. And we're going to have it on until we finish it. So that would be like, God knows how many hours, 5 or 6 hours, I think, probably to build it. Let me know in the comments if you would watch that. Because I might do it. I'm still deciding. Might be a lot of pressure. But that could be the video that blows up the channel. Dennis Olsen getting ready now. Helmet going on. Denny climbing in. I like Dennis a lot. We get along really well. This is super good dude. All the Ford guys are really good. We're really fortunate to have some great people driving for Ford. Drivers sometimes like can be a little bit fussy. They can be a little bit difficult, you know, especially if they come from like open wheel or Formula One. Quite a few of them are, you know, used to like having everything done for them and used to being fussed about. So, you know, if someone tells you every day of your life that you're amazing, then you're going to start believing it after a while. All right, should we send this? Nah. Yes, they do have a Lego set of Rexy. It was on back order forever. I was trying to get it. And then finally had it. Finally, it got delivered while I was in Daytona, and then I forgot about it for like weeks. And then the other day, Nicole was like, you know that box has your Rexy Lego set in it, right? I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. This is not the Bathurst 24 because there is no Bathurst 24. It's the Bathurst 12. They did run a 24-hour race at Bathurst back in the early 2000s, but not anymore. That would be cool, though. It'd be really dangerous at night with all the kangaroos. Oh, God. They always joke with this stuff, too, the signing the lens thing. I hate that. Drives me insane. I hate seeing content of that. I'm looking at my camera's video settings. It has 2 options per resolution and frame rate. That is standard IPB and light IPB. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what that means. So I would Google whatever your camera is and try and figure that out, because I've never seen anything like that. So it's probably a more beginner level camera, I would imagine. So like it probably doesn't have like extensive settings for video. Did you speak with Dennis after the kangaroo incident? Oh, yeah, I spoke with all the drivers. Like, Chris is the one that hit the kangaroo. I have an interview with him from after that. I was initially I was hoping to do an edit of, like, show you guys a full edit today of me doing, I'll do like a social teaser of the long form video from this. But since that video is like, it's not approved yet, I can't show you a lot of footage from it and like break the edit down. So I'm just gonna have to maybe do that another time, maybe next week's edit. Tend to have many other film crews in the same team as you. It depends who you're shooting for. Like, it's, I mean, when you're at WEC, there could be 4 camera crews shooting Porsche, right? Or there could be Ferrari will have like 14 tables of people. Like, I'm exaggerating, but like they'll have so many people at the race in Ferrari kit. And you're like, man, how is there like 27 people shooting in the garage? They're all there for different reasons. Some are for social, some are for long form, some are for a documentary, some are for this, some are for that. So one's shooting for the sponsor, and it all can be very, very annoying because you have so many people around. But like at Nürburgring last year, for example, we were shooting for Ford, and then HRT had its own video crew, right? The team had its own video crew. So it was like, you're with them, and then one of the drivers had their own video guy as well. So you've got just a large amount of people just in the paddock all at once, especially in a very cramped paddock. We'll do a little bit of autograph stuff here. Okay, I'm also going to go back to the town event, which I don't have labeled because I'm lazy, and I'll pull some stuff of the drivers from that. Course, it's by person. So this is my stuff from the town event. Can't wait for the WEC to start. Hopefully it won't be affected by Middle East war, though. It already is affected. It's been canceled. So I had to book going to Imola today instead. I was supposed to go to Long Beach, but Jared's now going to cover Long Beach while I go to Imola. So that was a fun morning of booking travel. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so that's driver stuff. They're going to have like a bunch of sequences from this just because there's a lot of good stuff. Has Ford HRT been the best team you worked for? I'd rather not talk about that. People ask me all the time, like, who's the rudest driver and who's the nicest driver? And it's like, I just can't really like sit here and be like, this driver sucks and this guy's good. It's like, I'd like to stay employed for a while. Just came across the channel, love the content. I do photo video full time, trying to get a motorsport niche, a little overwhelmed. If you would start over now, how would you go about doing it? So I have quite a few videos on my channel, since you just found the channel, where I talk about like how to get involved and how I got started. I also want to plug my workshop series on Paddock Focus. Well, it's not a series, it's one episode. So tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern time, I am doing a live Paddock Focus workshop on motorsport videography. It's going to cover how to get involved, the basic like shots that you need to get, how to manage clients, how to price your work, all those sort of different things. It's basically going to be a 3 or 4 hour crash course on how to get involved, and how to get better at motorsport videography. It's not a course, like I'm not promising anything. It's just, hey, here's all my knowledge, and it's good for you to have this knowledge if you want to get involved, right? So that's basically what the workshop is. It's through Paddock Focus, which is Jamie Price and Drew Gibson's workshop company. So if you're interested, you can join that. If you cannot make the live stream, it will be on demand afterwards. You can buy it. You'll own the episode forever, and you can watch it anytime. If you join the live stream, you also own the episode forever, and you can watch it anytime. It is not free. It's $89 US. So, but you get 10 years of knowledge for $89 US. I do give out a lot of stuff here for free, but this is going to be like the proper in-depth, all-in-one place course. Since I just went through my own list, is there a racetrack or event you haven't visited that's on your bucket list? I actually got interviewed earlier today by FanAmp, and they asked me the same question. And I think the big one for me still to do would be Macau. I've never done the Macau GP. I'm very fortunate in my life to have done most of the big races that I want to work on. But I think Macau is really the last one that I really want to do. Macau is an amazing event. Do you specifically work with Ford? Yes, I do specifically work for Ford. It's through agencies usually, whether it's Ignition in the UK or Campbell in the US. But Ford themselves dictate like what all the content's going to be and everything. So yes, I do work for Ford a lot of the time, and then we also do all of BMW Germany's BMW. All of their stuff in IMSA as well in the US. So that all comes through directly through Germany, which is cool. All right, what else do we have in here? That was garage stuff. Pretty happy with that. And we should probably just go through the pre-race as well, which I did not label because I'm lazy. Race start. Here we go. I see you've seen Ford racing commercials on TV. Would any of that footage be yours? Yes. There is a bit of my footage in Ford racing commercials. That is a great way to make extra money, is licensing footage for these Ford racing commercials. That's outside of the deal that we do to shoot for social. So anytime that whatever agency is making the commercial wants to use my footage, they do have to pay for licensing from me. So it's a little extra money for me, which is nice. And yeah, some of our footage, one of my shots and one of Jared's shots, was in a Super Bowl commercial last year. There's a shot right at the end where the Mustang GT3 is coming around the first turn at Sebring and it turns into the road car. That's my shot. So that was really cool. That was a huge moment for me to see my footage in a Super Bowl ad. That was like mind-blowing. Just did a quick read. IPBs, yeah. Wouldn't be able to yeah, that's just kind of outside my pay grade. You ever been to Magello? I've never been to Magello. ELMS races are very nice. That shot in the commercial with the G3 coming soon is so good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was really cool. They actually sent me a list. They were like, we're looking for a shot that would do well for like a transition into a car. Like, what do you have? And then I went through and found that, and they were like quite happy with it. So it's cool to actually kind of like be involved in a way in the creative process. Now I'm just going to send most of the pre-race stuff. Like, obviously the race didn't last very long, but I'm going to send most of the pre-race stuff here just so they have it in case they want to use it for anything. This is all Brent's stuff. I was on the top of the mountain. The Bathurst vlog, by the way, I did do a vlog from this race, and it comes out on Friday. So you can go ahead and check out that vlog on Friday. Comes out at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Channel members can watch it right now. So if there's any channel members in the chat, you've already seen it. Did you cover the V8 supercar race at Sydney? Do you think they'll ever loosen the rules on commercial use? Good question. I hope so. It's not really a commercial use thing. It's just that the broadcaster is like, we own all the footage and we don't want the teams like shooting it. You know, like we control everything. It's very similar to F1 where like no one's allowed to film anything. But we got special permission through Ford to be allowed to shoot. And hopefully, because we did such a cool video, if you saw the video, it's on the Ford Racing YouTube channel. Please go to the YouTube and watch it, not to social. Go watch it on YouTube and leave a comment and say Mark and Brent did a great job on this. You don't have to do that, but the YouTube 16:9 is so much better than the 9:16 social version. So please go watch the YouTube version and consume that one. I'm hoping that they see it and they're blown away by it and they're like, wow, we should just let the teams do content because this is really cool. So we'll see. I doubt it, but maybe. This is like one of the only few shots of the car actually in the race still. There it is. This is the lap before it crashed. There it is right there. Did you get told it would be in the Super Bowl? It was total shock. I was told it would be in the Super Bowl, yes. I was told it was like a tier 1 ad. And then a lot of our footage was in the rebranding video for when they switched the name to Ford Racing. I didn't do the edit for that. It was actually done by Adam Cosgrove, and he's amazing, and he did such a cool edit. But most of that footage that's in that is ours. And that's basically, I think, going to be everything I'm going to send them. So I'm just going to delete all these audio tracks that we don't need. And then I will show you kind of how I send these off. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to grab an adjustment layer. I'm going to put the adjustment layer on top of everything. Up again, I apologize for the low quality in the stream. This might be difficult to see, but next stream will be better. It's the first one. Why am I beating myself up? And then I'm going to drop a LUT on this. Now, why am I going to put a LUT on the raw footage? Any guesses? I'll give you a few moments to put your guesses in the comments. Okay, so the stream's on a bit of a delay, so it's obviously taking me a minute to see people's responses. But basically, the reason we're going to put a LUT on this is because we don't want to give people, we don't know who the editor is, and we don't want to give them log. Because I have sent too many videos over the years where too many times I've sent footage in the log and they don't end up coloring it. They just post it. Or they're like, why is it so desaturated? You know, you'll get that email. They're like, why does it look like it looks gray? Or you'll get, people, again, you'll just get ungraded log posted online. So we're going to at least just drop a LUT on it. I'm not going to do any adjustments to any of these clips. I am just going to drop the LUT on. That's it. We have a neutral FX6 legacy LUT. I use the Joe Fulmilaro Phantom LUTs. They look like this. They come in a package. I use the FX6 Phantom one. I use a neutral FX6 legacy. And I'm not going to touch this. I'm just going to drop the LUT on and then send it off to them. Because that way they have a colored version already and they don't need to do anything with it, right? They can just start editing. So that's basically it. So good guesses. Yes, to have it look the same saves time. Because clients don't know what log is. Puddle Hopper 604, correct. That is the main one. What command do you use to incorporate the in and out? So I just use an I and an O on my keyboard. The I and the O. And that's how we do the in and out. And then I hit the comma to bring everything into the sequence. All right, so we're going to go ahead and export these. And I want to export these in pretty high bitrate. So I'll have my export settings here. This is Bathurst Best Of. We'll do Bathurst Best of 01. We'll pop this in the forward folder. Save, and then what we're going to do is maximum depth, maximum quality. But when we go down to bitrate encoding, we're going to do VBR1 pass, and we're going to do a 50 for the bitrate. So it's going to make actually, let's do 65, make it even higher. It's going to make a very large file, but it's also going to mean that they can use it for more things. And one other thing we need to do is we go to Lumetri Look LUT, and we have to make sure that gamma compensation LUT is there, because unfortunately with Premiere Pro exporting anything that's S-Log3, if you don't add that compensation LUT, it comes out a little tiny bit desaturated. It's just a known flaw, but they provided the LUT to fix that. So we are not going to export this either. We're going to send it to the media encoder. So rather than just export it, we'll just send it to the media encoder. So Media Encoder is a separate program that works in conjunction with Premiere, and it allows you to encode multiple sequences at once. It also allows you to keep working in Premiere while the sequence is exporting. Because normally when you export a sequence in Premiere, a bar will come up that's like exporting, and then you can't touch anything in Premiere. This allows you to do a whole bunch of different things at once. So I've got the first one sitting here. It's got all my settings. I can even double check. I can go, yep, what are my settings? And it's going to have the same settings that we had in Premiere Pro. So I'll just minimize this. And then we'll do the next sequence. Oh, let's make sure this second tracks and audio are gone. So we'll do the same thing for this one. We'll just call this one Best of 02. We'll also send that to Media Encoder. And then we'll have Best of 03. Same thing again. I can do these really quickly. This was like a large part of my job when I worked at the Canadian Football League before I was in motorsport. I was basically doing like all the archiving and whatnot. So like I did this for days on end, just listening to podcasts and archiving footage. There we go. We'll send that to the media encoder. Also, I will say a great thing to do if you're in the field and you're worried about having backups and you don't have a lot of space. At the end of the day, one absolute like last, resort backup you can do is just drop all your footage in a sequence and export it and then upload it to Google Drive or something, just so you have it, right? Just in case something happens. It's not gonna be the highest quality, but at least you still have all of your footage somewhere. All right, so now that we've got those 4 sequences ready to go, I'm gonna go hit play, and it's just gonna start exporting. And you can see it's going quite fast. And somebody asked, what type of MacBook Pro do you use? How much memory? It looks very fast. So this is a 2022 M1 MacBook Pro, and it is 64 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte hard drive. I think I'm going to upgrade soon. I have started pricing out a new MacBook. The custom build I want to do is going to cost a lot of money, but I think it's going to be worth doing. I think getting a new one and then transitioning this into being like sort of my at-home laptop and my backup and archiving laptop. But we'll see. I think it'll still last another year. It's out of warranty. It has no more Apple Care on it. So if I have any issues with it, I'm on my own to fix it. But it still works really well. I will say, though, I tried the Premiere Pro beta, and it did not run very well on this laptop. It needs crazy memory to run the Premiere Pro beta. So I'm still using Premiere Pro 25, and it works really, really well. So that's basically it. I think that's basically what I was going to cover today. I didn't want to go too in-depth on anything. A lot of good stuff, though, from Bathurst looking back. Again, Bathurst vlog is out on Friday, so if you want to watch that, it'll be out at 11 a.m. Eastern. I can't set premieres for them. I know people like premieres, but if I want to do members first, right, if I want my members to watch it first, which right now it's already available for members, you can't set a premiere. You can't have members first and a premiere. So I'm going with members first right now because I want to reward the channel members who usually get my videos 2 to 3 days early. I'd like it to be a week early, but I just can't commit to that, getting the videos done. Speaking of backups, have you transitioned over your backlog of portable hard drives to your NAS? Not yet. The NAS is 2024 and beyond. That's this thing over here. This is the NAS, and then this is an extendable drive for it. It's got an additional 8 bays, and yeah, it needs to be expanded again after this year. So not great, but with a lot of storage. I still have all the drives from 2023 and before, and then I even have like summer backups like this. Like this is the 3 24-hour races from 2025. This is an additional backup. This is a third backup of that that just sits here, and I'm never going to touch that. So yeah, that was a lot of footage, but I wanted to make sure I didn't lose anything. Any reason why Mac over Windows laptop? I just cause like when I started going to college, even everything was on Macs, so I just gravitated towards buying a MacBook and doing Mac. So that's basically the only reason. And I've just been on Mac ever since. And if you look around, like 95% of the creatives doing video in the media room are all on Mac. It's just solid, very simple to use, very intuitive. So like that's why everybody's on Mac. I couldn't really give you a better reason than that. Without going into too much detail or specific numbers, how are you getting paid? Is it day rate per footage? So it really depends, right? I'm going to go into this in detail in the seminar or the workshop tomorrow night, but it really depends on the work that you're doing. So basically what I'll do on these gigs for Ford, for example, so if Ford says, hey, can you fly to Australia and shoot the Bathurst 12-hour for us? Like, can you come up with what you think would be a good idea for content and then a quote to do that? So usually I'll come up with different packages and I'll say like, hey, we'll do this for this price or this for this price, etc. So what I did, I basically said, we'll do like, the long form film thing. We'll do social coverage while we're there, daily social coverage. I need 3 of us because it's a lot of work and you have to cover a lot of the track and whatnot. We only have 1 car, etc. So it's going to cost this. I price it all out with the flights and everything, and I come up with a quote. Then I figure out, okay, how much money do I need to make off of it to make it worth my while? And then I come up with a quote. Other people will just do like, if you're just, say you're working for a team and a team says, we want you to do social coverage for us, like videos every day and maybe a recap. that you'd probably do like day rate plus expenses. So you figure out what your day rate is, and then you say, hey, obviously you have to get my expenses because I have to travel, right? So, and usually the team will be better off booking all your travel for you because they'll get a better rate, right? They're using a travel agent. They'll get a discount on hotels because they're booking 30 hotel rooms, right? So, but there's just different ways to do it, right? And I think it becomes difficult when you're working for multiple clients, because what ends up happening is, say Ford will hire me. Like I had this happen at Le Mans. So Ford hired us. We were working for Ford, and then we also did some work for like another client as well for AWA Racing. But then I had a driver approach me and say, hey, can you work for me at Le Mans? And I was like, yeah, this is the price. And he's like, well, can you do it any less than this? Like, you're already here working for Ford. And I'm like, yeah, but like you still have to pay. They're like, yeah, but mate, like you don't have to travel or anything. Like you're already here. Like they wanted to pay like $500, and I was like, I'm just not interested, right? So, but that happens a lot. Like you'll have people post in the story like, I'm looking for someone to help me in Long Beach that's already gonna be there, because they don't want to pay for any of your travel. Basically, they're hoping that you have another client that's paying all your expenses and that you can work for them on the side. But then you have to think, is that really fair to my other client if they're paying all my expenses, but I'm here also working for someone else? So those are all discussions that need to be had. 1,000 years from now, archaeologists will be digging up Mark Urban hard drives. Absolutely. Funny you speak of that. Last year in Qatar, we had an action camera, a brand new DJI Osmo Action 4 that I had just bought. Okay, I had just bought it for use on the side of the car in the dunes. We had a Raptor that we were driving around, an F-150 Raptor and a Ranger Raptor. And we attached it all the outside of the car. Everything was good. And then I noticed in the rearview mirror, I was driving with Ben Barker, and then Dennis Olsen was in the other truck. And I looked back, I'm like, the camera's not there anymore. We tried to go back and find it. We don't know where we lost it, but it was in a waterproof housing that's good for like 60 meters depth. One day, when the sand clears, someone is going to find a DJI Action 4 with the sickest shot of the front wheel of a F-150 Raptor in the dunes. So congratulations to you if you're the one that finds that, because it's going to be awesome. Hi, Mark. How are you? I'm fantastic. I am, however, going to go now. It's been about an hour. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm sorry the stream took a while to start. I was just fiddling with things, and then obviously for the quality issues, get those all rectified for next week's stream. I will put up a community post on streaming and figure out like, hey, when do you want me to go live? Do you want me to go live like Tuesday or Wednesday? Yeah, so I will let you know. Last question, have you been on the bike yet this year? So almost all gone. The thing is, I was actually really annoyed I decided to do this stream right now because the weather's amazing. It's 8 degrees outside. I could have gone for a bike ride. So I'm actually kind of annoyed that I'm in here doing this stream. But no, I'm probably gonna go for a run actually, because it is nice weather out. So, or I might do Zwift in the garage. I ordered a new bike though. It was expensive, but it's very nice, and I get it on Wednesday, so I'm very excited. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, everybody, and we will see you in the next stream. Probably same time next week, but I'll let you know. Check out the community page.